changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more complaining. People, their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more.
Welcome to today's Jumpstart. It is an honor to help you jumpstart your day in a positive way, wherever or whenever you watch us. And when I say us, I mean me and Ted E. Bear. And he's in his little basket again. I hate to disturb him. He is 100% curled up like a croissant. He barely fits into this round basket, and he is in there. What are you grateful for? I am grateful for the opportunity to go spend the weekend with my daughter. I've got a speech in Indianapolis, and then the following week, I have got a speech in Phoenix. Or maybe I have that backwards. Either way, I'm going to get to spend 2 days with my daughter and my son-in-law, Ryan, in between. And I'm going to get to do something super exciting. And I'm glad to know that Ryan, my son-in-law, is as excited about this as I am. And that is we get to watch episode 1 of season 2 of Ted Lasso. I just absolutely cannot wait. We have been sending Ted Lasso gifts to one another. And I know Ryan doesn't watch this, but I got him some Ted Lasso gifts for his birthday. And today is Ryan's birthday. So we want to say happy birthday to my son-in-law, Ryan. What are you grateful for? I am so grateful for this opportunity to travel. And I want you to get your vaccination. Okay? Get vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, get vaccinated. Even Sean Hannity came out and said it's a good idea to get vaccinated. So I was listening to a podcast that 98.5% of the people who are hospitalized with COVID right now are unvaccinated. So I want to share with you something I saw in the park a few days ago. There are things that I see in my life, and I'm sure the same is true for you, that just make an indelible imprint on your life and on your mind. And there are several that I have seen down here in Key Largo. One of them I think I told you about was a man that everyone referred to as Plastic Man. Plastic Man was staying in a house that was owned by one of the churches down here. This is the story that I hear. Anyway, the man never spoke, and he did this as a spiritual practice, and he also never consumed anything. So what he did was he would walk up and down Overseas Highway, carefully picking through the trash. I think he got food from the church, but all of his clothes and everything like that, he recycled out of the trash, and so he wore plastic all the time. He had this little plastic container that had been cut that was a visor on his head, et cetera, et cetera. Well, a few days ago, I went to play pickleball, and after I had gotten run all over the court by the people there, I decided to go sit, drink some water, cool off, and meditate. And I was sitting at a park bench, and I sat there for a while, and I meditated. And when I opened my eyes, I saw this guy who looked to be about my age. He was a good 150 to 200 yards away from me because he was at home plate of a baseball field and I was outside the field. But I could tell just by the way he moved that he looked like he was about my age. And it was one of those things that there was hundreds of people around in the park, but for some reason I just looked at this guy when I opened my eyes. And I watched him do something I thought was absolutely fascinating. Your mind creates stories. Remember, we've talked about this many, many times. Your mind fills in the gaps with stories, and then it seeks to find out whether or not the story is true. Actually, we tend to approach things as if the story already is true. Anyway, he was standing behind home plate, and he had an aluminum bat. And I would say the guy was, like I said, probably my age, early to mid, maybe even late 60s. But he was overweight, probably 40 pounds, 35 pounds, maybe. Seemed to carry it pretty well. And what I saw him do was stand at home plate and hit home runs. Now, when you think of home runs, you have a certain idea of what a home run is. What this guy did was he would toss the ball in the air and then attempt to pop fly it as high as he possibly could. And as soon as he connected with the ball, it was a softball he was using, by the way. As soon as he connected with the ball, he would then run down the baseline. And he was not, you could tell that this guy had not run in 30, 40 years. I mean, this was a new thing for this guy. And he went to first base, and then he went on to second base, and he took a little breath there at second base. And then he ran on to third, and he ran on home. And I thought to myself, this guy is just standing there hitting home runs in his mind. And it's so wonderful. Many times people don't want to begin exercising if they haven't been exercising before because of the number one fear people have. You know what that is, right? I've shared that with you before. The number one fear we have is not public speaking, it's embarrassment. If we do well at public speaking, we're not that afraid of it. People are afraid of being embarrassed by other people. There's something tribal about this. It's like, if I'm embarrassed, I may get tossed out of the herd. And this guy, this is my narrative. This is the story that I came up with about this guy, is that he realized he's out of shape. And he realized that one of the best ways to get back into shape is to get his body moving, get a little cardio going. And yet walking by himself probably seems boring or something like that. Who knows? Maybe he was a baseball champion in high school and he still remembers his glory days. And so he comes up with this idea of taking a bat and taking a softball and going out and trying to pop the ball up. By the way, he almost struck himself out before he hit it again. He tossed the ball up twice and missed completely. I could not hit the ball. I am not laughing at this man. I am telling you this story with admiration because I find him so inspirational. As he came around third base and went on, he poured it on a bit more. And when I say poured it on, one of those rascals, that goes along at like 5 miles an hour would have paced past him, okay? But he was doing everything he had. And what do you think he did when he got to home? What do you think? Pumped his fists. In his mind, he'd hit a home run and he had run the bases. And again, I found that so inspirational that a man would, number one, get up off the couch before it was too late. A lot of people. I remember I was working for a radio station. I won't tell you where the station was because you might connect the pieces, but it was a major, major radio station. Number one, it had been for many, many years in this large market where I worked. And one of our announcers was very, very overweight. And I went to him and I said, look, I've got a whole chain of diet companies that want to sponsor your program and just have you do commercials of how you're doing and how you're struggling. He says, you know what? It comes to a point where you just accept yourself and you don't change. And that's the way it is. The interesting thing about that story is that about, 3 or 4 years later, I ran into him and he had lost a lot of weight. It was really cool. But so this guy had decided he was going to get up off the couch and he wasn't going to go do water aerobics, which was going on right behind us, or he wasn't going to go play tennis, or he wasn't going to come out and join us in pickleball. This guy was going to hit home runs. And not only that, that's why I call this nothing but home runs. Every time the guy connected with the ball, it was a home run. He was intentionally trying to pop it up, in my opinion, so that he wouldn't have to go way out into the outfield after he ran the bases to celebrate his home runs. I was so inspired by this man. I wanted to shoot a video of him. And then I thought, no, that would be such an invasion of privacy. I just want to take it in. And then I want to share this with my friends and family through the Jumpstart. Because I want you to think about what you are doing and to begin to consider what you are doing to be a home run. Begin to take the little things in your life and to celebrate them. One of the things that I struggle with, and I've shared this before, my mom did too, and that is that oftentimes feeling like no matter what I'm doing, I should probably be doing something else. And sometimes it's a big struggle to get something done. And by the time you're done with it, you don't want to celebrate because you didn't get it done fast enough. You didn't get it done well enough. And the fact is, just celebrate. Just celebrate. We tend to put way too high expectations on ourselves. This dude did not have high expectations, in my opinion. He was just out there having fun. And I think we can do that a lot more in our lives. As I'm putting together this Develop Your Potential 2021 Summit, I am consciously approaching every little win, every celebrity that we are able to attract, which is what is happening now, as all of a sudden everybody wants to be part of it. As we are attracting more and more people, it just gets more and more exciting. And I'm taking the time in my mind and my heart to celebrate every win. We so often look at our lives and say, well, when things go well or when I do the right thing, that's because that's what I'm supposed to do. Why? Because oftentimes our parents said that to us. Instead, what we need to do is to begin to have lots of little celebrations. Everything is a home run. You know, even if you tried something and you messed it up, it was a home run because you tried. And you beat out 99.9% of the people who won't even try. It's still a struggle for me to get myself to finish the Jumpstart and go play pickleball because I know that I'm not that good at it. And I'm used to being pretty good at things. But I also realize that just like with juggling and hitting a speed bag and flying an airplane, all things that I've learned, you have to suck at something before you can be good at it. So celebrate, make it a home run that you even tried and sucked at something, but celebrate. Everything can be a home run when you approach it that way. Song of the day, once again, look for the bare necessities. Grateful for my family reunion, says Mary. Brittany says, good tune. Thanks, everybody. Let's get it all started right now. Alexa, play Look for the Bare Necessities.
The Bare Necessities from the Jungle Book / soundtrack version by Phil Harris and Bruce Blatterman on Amazon Music.
Phil Harris. Here we go. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying